Well, Stan, this is a stunner here. A 54 Arnolt-Bristol, right?
Correct.
I've never heard of an Arnolt-Bristol. How many of these did they make?
Altogether 140, and today about 80 to 90 still exist.
Wow, I'm surprised there's that many of them around. So is it an aluminum car? It looks aluminum.
The hood, trunk, and doors are aluminum, and the rest is steel.
Okay, and it's a car that looks decidedly Italian.
Well,
for a British car.
It is. The body's by Bertone, and it was the first production run Bertone ever did. He met Stanley Arnolt in the Earl's Court show in London in 1952, and Stanley Arnolt had found 100 Bristol chassis and was looking for a body. Bertone had a body there. Stanley liked it and said, "I'll take 100." And the next thing you know, he sends 100 chassis over to Bertone.
Wow.
In Turin.
Well, you know, it's an interesting car. I think it's got a really interesting stance. Yeah. It seems to, you know, the nose sits up high.
Yeah, it's for two reasons. Well, the main reason for that is that it's a tri-carb setup, and the carbs sit very high. And the original body that Bertone had designed for this did not have a hood scoop, so he had to lift the car up about 2 inches in the front and put on a hood scoop to get the carburetors to fit in. So Stanley didn't tell him that when the chassis were on the way.
Should have mentioned that.
By the way, yeah.
Oh, by the way. Well, you know, it's the body and the lines are so crisp on it. And I'm surprised. I mean, it's a steel body. That's a lot of art there.
No, it's you know, it was a work of love. You know, the lines are very hard to get because it's a handmade body.
Yeah.
The fenders had to be made in 6 pieces.
My gosh.
You know.
Now this is not the first Arnolt-Bristol you've had, right?
No, the first one I owned, I was 20 years old. I found it sitting on side of a gas station in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and I bought it for $250, which was the outstanding bill on the car.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. You know, and I repainted it and sold it to pay for my education. And this one I bought from an Indy Formula 2 driver 4 years ago.
Oh, what a find!
Yeah,
was it in pretty good shape, or?
He had it since 1989. Meant to race it, never got around to it. Had it in a temperature-controlled facility for, 14 years.
Solid.
It was solid,
yeah.
But it needed to be completely gone through.
Great interior. These look like the original gauges.
They are the original gauges, yes. And it's got a few interesting things. It's got a remote throttle because these essentially, are race cars.
Yeah.
So if your gas pedal went, which was not uncommon back then, you could just reach over and pull out your remote throttle.
So it's a little bit of a cruise control.
Yeah.
I like these braces too. I mean, that's kind of an interesting setup.
Yes.
Give you a little more reinforcement.
Yeah. These cars, there was a deluxe version which you could order from the factory, which actually had a convertible top and 2 little bumperettes. And the dash was slightly different, but most of them were what they called the Bolide, the racing versions.
It's gorgeous. All the way to the back, it's such, it's so elegant. I love how the taillights are just kind of nestled in there.
Yeah, it's a very clean, crisp body design. It's
beautiful. Well, what powers this baby?
Okay, it's got a 3-liter BS1 Bristol engine. Produces 130 horsepower, and back then that was quite a bit, yeah.
And those are the 3 high-setting carburetors.
Those are the 3 high-setting carburetors.
Wow. Now the Bristol engine, I mean, that's what was originally in the AC Aces.
Aces,
before Shelby got a hold of them and slept into 260.
The original engine design, it was actually licensed from BMW by Bristol in the late 30s.
Oh, really?
And they continued it, of course, with the war interrupting things, they continued it into the mid-50s.
And it's what'd you say, it's a 2-liter or 3?
3-liter.
3-liter.
3-liter, 130 horsepower.
Man. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's all business, but
there's a lot of room in there too.
Yeah, there is.
You can actually work on it.
And how is it to drive?
It's fun. I mean, it handles wonderfully. It has minimal brakes, so braking is a planned event. If you know you're going to stop in a quarter of a mile, you got to start thinking about it.
Wow, it's a gorgeous car. Now, have you been to the British invasion before?
No, this is my first time
here.
Oh,
no kidding.
Yep,
no kidding. What do you think?
That's wonderful. I love British cars.
Well, and what a place to have this.
I mean, location's great, and the weather's starting to cooperate too. So.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, great car. That's definitely the only one here. Thanks so much for bringing it up.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
54 Arnolt-Bristol. Wow, man.